Hello guys, and welcome to a new WARNO video today by me, Vulcan. In this one I have for you Game 3 of a best of 5 between Scuf and Stardekk in the semi-finals of the Division 1 playoffs of the WARNO League. Today they are playing on Vertigo Duel, and on our left, in the red team, we have Stardekk playing with the 9th Panzer. And on our right, in the blue team, we have Scuf playing with the 9th US Infantry Division. Both of these players throwing punches in the first couple of games. It is currently 1-1 in the series, so all to play for from this point forwards. And I'm really excited to see what these two players get up to today. So let's have a quick look at what they are getting down in their deployment. We have ourselves a BRM-1K from Stardekk with the MI2. There's also an AF color. And on this bottom side, the triple BRM-1K. MI2 with the a BMP one with the mod AF color. Then we have the BMP2 there with the mod Schützen, MI2 URN. Then we've got the Schilke, two BMP2s, T72 and 1 Pioneer with a Flammenwerfer. Then we've got the MI2 urns on the bottom side. So 23 more autocannon rockets on those helicopters. On the side of Scuf, we have two snipers with the M82. Those are the anti-material rifles, so they've got the Barretts. So that's going to be 3 of those at the start. Then we've got the M1041, which is the buggy with the TOW 2 on top of it. Very cool unit. Then we've got the Humvee with the grenade launcher with the scouts. Another of those buggies with the TOW 2. The JOH 58C, which has its 20mm rotary cannon on the front. Another one of those buggies. Further back, we're going to be seeing the M998T with a grenade launcher, bringing in the light rifle Dragons, the Humvee, and the National Guard TOW. Then another TOW 2A, light rifles Dragon, Stinger, and the Humvee TOW. Also the M1008. These are basically American technicals coming in with a supply there. So 300 supply on the back side. Really interested to see this division in competitive play. I think it's the first time that I will have seen it in competitive play. So yeah, a very fast division. Has a lot of quick units that are great for flanking or like getting into positions around the map. And Vertigo is a really good map for that because there's quite a lot of routes around the edge of the map. I mean, these things are even pretty fast off-road, so they can drive over these mountains all the way around to the back line if they like to at 100 km/h speed. They will be slowed down obviously by the trees, but off-road speed of 100 km/h is pretty quick. Anyway, we are off, and a MiG-23 going to be joining out of Stardekk here. Going to be looking to just clean up any helicopters early on, so bringing it out wide so he doesn't have to go head on, and then he's just going to be swinging it around to engage the enemy helicopters, but bumps into an F-16 and both of them go down. So a trade early on for the anti-air aircraft. So now we just need to see how the helicopters get on. MI2 is going to spot all of these fast vehicles getting into position. They are very, very quick indeed. The snipers have unloaded. The snipers can shoot down the MI2s if they get too close, so you just have to be a little bit careful about that. But the MI2 getting lots of information here. Let's see who wins this trade. It looks like Scuf doesn't want to take the trade. He's going to get his recon helicopter out of there as the 23 more autocannons get on target. The scout here getting forced back. He's going to unload that much further back than he would like. This buggy is going to get taken out. The sniper does manage to shoot down one of the MI2s though, and another air-to-air engagement. This time the F-16 coming out on top. Sniper has been spotted, taken out by the autocannon. A really interesting engagement there at the start, not units that you'd expect to see in like frontline combat going up against each other. You've got like the MI2s they're okay at the beginning for like rushing down these light units, but on the side of Scuf, like having the sniper M82s at the start there was pretty interesting, that's for sure. BMP2 does get taken down, and it looks like the concentration of forces of Scuf further up is certainly in his favour, but the MiG-23 that coming in there and strafing the Stinger adds insult to injury. But the F-15 Eagle coming through from Scuf shoots down the MiG-23 no problem, and is now probably going to get a free strafe onto the Mi-2. Doesn't need to strafe it at all, just gets the AIM-9 on target. So very successful engagements now in the air for Scuf, which may give him air control for the rest of the game, because that is now 3 MiGs taken down on the side of Stardekk. Looking for the Mi-2 here as well while he's at it. So it looks like what's going to happen here is the bottom side is going to be taken over completely by Stardekk. On the top side, Scuf's going to get into position here. Scuf currently doing a good job getting ahead on points, and now +4 as he captures that sector, and that is something that's quite important on this map, because this map's generally quite slow because all of the center sectors are just 1-pointers. So if you can get ahead on points early on, it puts a lot of pressure on your opponent to like try and make ground. And in this case, you can see here that Stardekk, he doesn't have anything else to capture down here. He's already taking control of these 2 points. And now he kind of has to get through the ATGMs of Scuf in order to push back on the top side. So this map very interesting for sure, and it will present challenges for Stardekk as the game continues, especially with the light rifles here and the sniper slowly taking out the Mudschützen. BRM-1K can see those, but Toe now joining it. National Guard Toe hoping to kill that off. Also, look at this Humvee CP going for a drive over the mountain. Going to try and contest the sector on the backside, although that +2 will be contested. No leader on the bottom side just yet for Stardekk as well. So the +2 going to continue to tick for the time being. AH-1F, we're looking to get its Ito onto the BMP-2, doesn't manage to do so. F-16 Seed coming in. Misses both of its harms. That is tragic. Considering that was like the only target. The F-16 failing its run there is really, really bad for Scuf, because that's a lot of points invested. It's 275 points, and sure, you know, this is only an 80-point unit, but if you kill nothing, it's even worse. Now, Buggy with the grenade launch taken out there, but in reply, BRM-1K does go down. Oh, F-16 just going to strafe that. Now the Eagle strafing it as well. Just making sure to stun it to try and keep the JOH alive, but not able to succeed. So the Humvee here was killed just before it got into the sector. So it didn't even manage to contest it. Strafing runs do eventually lead to the Shilka going down. Gee, it looks like it was actually caused by the Maverick here of the FA-16. Oh, that's going to find the T-72. It does have the Pave Claw. And so that T-72 had a real bad time. It looks like it might have got off a second Maverick as well at close range. Very, very nice. Okay, so looks like what we were talking about earlier is starting to pay off with the F-16 able to basically freely strafe things on the ground due to a lot of MiGs being taken out early on. This one Cub, it's going to try its best, but it's now out of ammo. Now Cobra moving forwards with the Recon Buggy. This does have an M60 on it that can engage. They sound so cool. And that's going to allow the Toad Cobra as well to get its main gun on target. Supply coming over. Oh, BRM reveals itself. Oh, Toad just missing the mark. Now the sniper in the middle of the map getting hits on target. This one has been doing a pretty good job. The Mortav Carter there taken out very easily by that 50 cal. Eagle looking for the MI2, another good kill there. Maverick was used up on the F-16. The Scuf in an interesting position right now because he's like ahead in score, which is good. But his ground-based positioning is a little rough compared to Stardekk, but he does have complete air dominance at the moment, which is really helping him find kills that he would otherwise not be able to get. But another MiG-23 has been invested upon. F-16s are going to turn and engage, but now Stardekk has invested in another Shilka, Igla, and a KUF. They're really trying to lock down this air, and the F-16s here do not want to fall for the bait. National Guard TOW, can it get some good value here? The National Guard TOW is nice. It's a 16 AP, 55 point unit that can kill off things like the BMP-2 very easily, and the BRM in this case, and pay itself off super quick. So as long as it's not being fired upon, it's still maintaining 50% accuracy. It's pretty decent for how cheap it is. F-16 looks like it's aim 9, couldn't get the job done, but this F-16 with its dual aim 9s, oh, that is unbelievable. That's 6 aim 9s, or maybe 7 aim 9s that didn't hit the mark there. And then the F-16 goes down. I guess it was technically 6 that didn't hit and 1 that did. That's very, very rough indeed. SBW was taken out in this sector by the TOW Cobra that was just freely allowed to move up there. Or interesting. Dragon hits the mark on the BRM. Cobra can help finish things off. Now potentially finishing off the Mochutsen there as well. That just run out of ammo? It did. Ooh. What a shot from the TOW 2. Straight into the BMP. Does get traded by the BRM 1K. What a messy game this has become from both players. Really pushing each other to the limit right now. The M1041 here, the little buggy, going through the mountain. Trying to get into a favorable position on the backside, but has been spotted by the MI2. That combination with the MI24D will be looking to kill that off, but the F-16 coming in with the seed missiles doesn't manage to hit the mark again. And now gonna get shot down on the way out by the Su-22. Absolutely tragic. I can't help but feel for Scuf as his F-16s continue to let him down. The KUF ran out of ammo, so no longer targetable by the seed. Shilka, I think it was just too close on the angle there to get a shot off. That's really, really rough. Oh, lovely, lovely rocket strike there. Takes out the infantry in that building, including the TOW. So now, it seems like Stardekk starting to get a foothold in this game. Like there's a lot more of a sporadic force for Scuf. It's very spread out. And meanwhile, it seems like Stardekk's managed to keep his units consolidated, which is certainly going to help, especially in taking back these flags. And that rocket strike really opens up the movement for the infantry. The M60 here, certainly going to be able to stop some of that for the time being. But as soon as the T-72 M1 arrives on the backside, that will make short work of M60s. Oh, this M998, it reloaded the light rifles lore to bring them into the sector here, but ends up getting ambushed by the BMP-2. That's really rough. Engineers Dragon though, still in a good position in that sector. National Guard rifle leader is going to be able to walk their way in here. MI2 does go down, the BMP2 also taken care of. The Tow Cobras really holding the line on this bottom side. Good hit by the Dragon off the engineers. Gonna want to do that again before it can get around the corner. Unfortunately, no time. So, I mean, it's still going to be 50-50 on the points for the time being. I mean, Scuf's ahead on total points, 403. But if Scuf can get more reinforcements to Bravo, it's going to make it a hard time for Stardekk to get back in there. Engineers at close range do have the shock trait to use. So able to deal with the Mudschützen quite nicely. Schilke, however, making things difficult and being a very useful fire support weapon in that scenario. Also Mi-24D now moving up. The nearest AA is the Chaparral in the middle here. That is the towed Chaparral. It's not very mobile. F-15 did come in for a strafe, but forced off. Now F-16. Oh, the FA-16 there forced away by the near miss. Or National Guard rifle leader. Going to be covered by the Chaparral. Will the Chaparral find the kill in time, because that National Guard leader could have been killed off there if he had eyes on it. Schilke's taking care of the Tow Cobra. Now going to be putting more damage into the Engineer Dragon. Tow 2A takes out the BRM-1K. So assets now falling pretty fast here for Stardekk on the bottom side. MiG-23 goes down for free over the Stinger and the Chaparral. Seed takes out the Schilke, gets a hit onto the Su-22. Can the Chaparral or the Stinger finish the job? F-16 Seed goes down though. Su-22 also down. Su-22 rocket still alive, but that is the HE Su-22 going down, which I think is pretty expensive. The Su-22 there does come in with the strafe onto the Stinger squad. But light rifles and military police patrol now arriving into these buildings. That's going to make things difficult for Stardekk to deal with. He's got only one Mudschützen standing in the way. And the nice thing about this combination is like the military police patrol with the M67 are able to provide decent fire support with the recoilless, but also they provide the buff, the military police buff, which grants a suppression regeneration bonus to nearby units. So the light rifles or dragons will recover a lot faster than the Mudschützen. Although the Mudschützen will get suppressed less quickly, especially if they stay nearby the BMP2 due to the IFE infantry and resolute trait. These tows catching out the reinforcements on the backside, that's pretty huge. BMP2 goes down, BMP1 goes down. That's real nasty losses, especially ones he can't afford if he wants to continue to contest this bottom side, as now Scuf moves up to a +2 and continues to build his conquest lead. Now the Mi-24D coming up. We'll be able to get some good damage in here. The Chaparral not going to be close enough to stop that. He's just going to have to play with line of sight to keep the Mi-24D from getting damage on target. Looks like the... is that the Falunga? Yep, gets on target the M60. Oh, that's not worth it, surely. F-16 coming in for the dive onto the Mi-24D. Taken out by the Cubs in quick succession. 2 hits, hit the mark. That's really, really rough. That is a very expensive AT plane. And it's fantastic for knocking out any T-72s that Stardekk might have. But running and gunning an Mi-24D that close to the front line, probably not the best use of that plane. Not the first time that we've seen Scuf be a bit overzealous with his aircraft. Let's see if he can continue to make ground though, because he has done well to get his position solidified on the map. You know, at one point Stardekk looked well ahead in terms of overall units and ability to push, But now it's completely flipped on its head, as Scuf now getting his units built up quite substantially here. SU-22 coming in with a strafing run onto the Stinger. Those Stingers are pretty good kills. I mean, they're 50 points apiece. You know, it's 150 point aircraft. If you get like 2 or 3 infantry kills, it's pretty much worth it for the SU-22s. Ooh, that's not good. BRM-1K sneaking up the side here, takes out the towed chaparral. Opens up the skies once again to the SU-22s, and also any more Mi-24s that want to play. Infantry engaging the light rifles. Mutschützen going at each other. He is going to want to get the other light rifles and the patrol on target there. He wants to overwhelm them quickly. Nice little rocket strike from the SU-22. Oh, gotta be careful. SPW-70 goes down, but the Pioneer does survive. Oh, nice rocket strike there onto the chaparral, knocking out the AA network of Scuf. Maybe a way for these SU-22s to contribute a lot more to this game. And those are also very expensive, so you've got to consider that as well. Now this BRM's used its smoke. Gonna get popped by the Ito. Easy peasy. T-72 in a weird position on this bottom side. I'm a bit worried this has been forgotten about. Kind of just sat out in the open when it could easily move into cover and start pushing into the backside of this sector, or even just sit up on the ridge and kill things as they come in to reinforce. But at the moment, the flamethrower not really able to get any work done. Like this LPO, this unit in general is just not very good. Cheeky rocket strike there, going to take the light rifles very low. Stinger does actually hit the mark on the bottom side. Going to be on target probably for another rocket strike soon. 152 mil has been brought in, the Ekataya of these Germans. Trying to use that at close range. It's in a bit of an exposed position right now. Can probably be seen by Scuf, so he might try and run up with one of his like tow buggies or something and try and pop it. Right, now the T-72 is moving into position. Mi-24 is able to get some rockets on target as the Avenger's out of range. He can keep using this on the edge. At max range with those rockets, he can do damage anytime those infantry reveal themselves. T-72 picking off that Avenger nicely. But BMP-1 does go down to the Dragon. BMP-2 then starts to engage. Mutschützen also going down. Not much of an effort here to fix up his infantry. Especially considering Scuf continues to reinforce his own. Or SU-22 there. Oh, managing to one-run that with the 30 mil. The Mi-24 on the bottom side also managing to clean up one of these trucks. But the value of Scuf's units, I feel like he's still got so much on the map. Because they're kind of cheap. You know, T-72 in a strong position now. Good rockets coming through again from the SU-22s. They're slowly but surely breaking things down, but SU-22 now taken out of commission. On the top, T-72s are trying to make ground, but not really getting anywhere. A lot of HGMs. Tow 2A, Tow, the Dragon of the light rifle. So the BMP-2 eats it, and these tanks not able to make any ground without sufficient armor support, or sufficient infantry support, I should say. I think what honestly Stardekk needs in this situation is the napalm grad. It would be fantastic for cleaning up these positions. When I say napalm grad, I mean the RM70 with napalm. But good SU-22 does at least do a good amount of damage there, taking out the tow especially. Tow 2A is going to be able to do a lot of damage to the front armor of a T-72, so you know, he's got to respect that. But it is one of the special units of the 9th. That's also now putting pressure on. It is a technical with a Hellfire system on the back. And those things accelerate massively when they get close to hitting. And so the Shilka had no chance to dodge that. Look at this engineer. Scuf did go for it. But the engineer couldn't get the shot on target with the dragon. Well, it looks like Scuf knows exactly where the SBW is. The scouts probably spotted that on the way through. So now he's bringing up an M60. Got 2 M60s here that could push forwards and try and kill that off. Not really anything to stop him at the moment. Maybe the BMP-2. The MO-24D here, out of 80 gems, low on health. T-72 M1 only just arriving. T-72S on the bottom side, it would struggle to get shots into these buildings. So I feel like the M60s could just push in here. Obviously, we have the benefit of seeing the entire battlefield, whereas these players do not. So, mortars now coming in for Scuf. He's going to be bringing up the tools to try and push this SBW out of there. Like, if he doesn't want to do it with the M60s, what he can do is smoke this position and then run forwards with the light rifles. But that seems to be what he's doing. He's also purchased an M270 with the MLRS cluster, and he is firing it straight towards the Cubs, and the first shot hits the mark. Oh, that is insane. And I think here, because the first shot landed right at the back, Stardekk decided that the circle was at the back, and therefore has decided to move forwards with that. But I'm pretty sure he's still in line of sight, yeah, or in the circle of where that was going to land. And it does go down. Sorry about the camera there for a second. I accidentally clicked on the mini-map. But both the Cubs taken out as Stardekk heads that in the wrong direction. Really, really rough. T-72 up against the M60. The M60 had line of sight to shoot first, then lost line of sight, which was interesting. On the bottom here, the engineers going to be hitting the BMP-1. We'll be able to stop the Moldavkada in the open. Meanwhile, on the top, the Mutschützen are taken care of. It seems like the infantry kind of a bit disjointed. I mean, it feels like Stardekk has been a bit disjointed throughout this game, where like his assets have been attacking like individually and not as like a combined arms force, and that has certainly been costing him a little bit. The Su-22's trying to get more kills on the board, take out the Toad 2, don't manage to kill off the National Guard Toad, then get shot down. And those Su-22 rocket planes have paid themselves off, I would say, but it's not room made on the ground, generally speaking, because unfortunately there is a lot more where that came from on the side of Scuf. He's got more 80 gems. Like, if he's got a card of National Guard Tow, there's going to be a lot of them. I think it's like 8 on a card or something silly. So, you know, there's still going to be more 80 gems he has to deal with, and all Scuf really needs to do is not worry about hitting the enemy tanks in the front armor. He just spreads out his 80 gems enough that the T-72s, when they do push forwards, get hit very hard from all angles. And also, you can see here the Hellfire coming in, getting a first shot on target, getting a second shot towards the mark. Going to be having to find a third to get the kill, as those all hit the front armor. But that's the threat right there. That Hellfire is nasty. We are going to be seeing the RM-70 that's specifically trying to take out that Hellfire vehicle. These are such high priority targets. I was actually surprised to not see one come in sooner, but that's now dead, taken care of. Another one going to be moving in to the center of the map. The crazy thing about these little Hellfire Jeeps is they are really, really fast as well. So they can reposition easily. In this case, Stardekk having none of it gets rid of that. But now he's got to try and work his way back into this game. I mean, the conquest points are still going in favor of Scuf. It's a +2. He's almost up to 1,200 points. if Stardekk wants to get back into this one, he has to be able to take these positions back, these points back, and then sit there long enough to get the points back in his favour. And I don't even know if he can at this point. Even if he sits on a +2 himself, it's going to be too close at the moment, and therefore he'd have to extend even further. Oh, tragic. F-15 completely failing the job there. Cubs hitting the mark though very nicely for Stardekk. Su-22 coming in again. Rocket strike takes out the really important Jeep with the Hellfire. See, that would be worth a dive 100%. Unfortunately, it's not going to save him because he was already losing before that even arrived. But the Monschützen here, they're getting the better of the light rifles over time. T-72s just haven't really been used in support of infantry pushing. And that is the biggest problem you're seeing at the moment. So if there was a wall of infantry in front of all these T-72s and it all moved forwards at the same time, then the infantry could engage and lower the cohesion of the enemy HGM squads whilst the T-72s do the same. And then you get easy stuns, easy pins, like on all of the HGMs, kill them off nice and quickly, and then carry on and kill the rest. But unfortunately, it just hasn't really worked out. The other thing that he could do is like maybe use the Akatai to smoke a little bit across the front there, and then, you know, get the infantry a bit closer before then moving the T-72s in. Like, use the smoke to get the infantry close. Then as the smoke goes down, the tanks start engaging at long range as well. 155 from Scuf now in play. This thing has guided shells, which is very nice. So, able to get very pinpoint accurate with that 155 and corrected shot. Oh, here we go. Rockets smashing that tree line. But is there an attack to follow up? I feel like it's already too late. F-16 was coming in with the cluster there onto the T-72, but did not have line of sight due to the smoke. Doesn't go down to the Cubs, but an unsuccessful strike. All the while, Scuf continues to develop his position. He's even putting pressure now onto the bottom side of this map here. The support actually coming in from all of these Jeeps as well, with that grenade launcher on top. It's able to kill that infantry very quickly, the Monschützen there. But between the T-72 and the BMP-1, they are able to finish off the light rifles, but there is new light rifles on the way, engineers on the way. It's backed up by a couple of M60s. This is like a solid push, whereas this is just more T-72s driving forwards, getting hit and having to retreat, repair, while then the infantry goes in. And I just feel like, yeah, Stardekk not really playing to the best of his ability in this one. Scuf really taking advantage. Was looking to take out the Ural, but the Ural's doing a runner. Another 152 mil arriving, just trying to pin down any units in the end of the tree line. There is a very distinct lack of AT units now in position here, so the T-72s have finally broken down these units. But it's just going to be up to... Well, it's going to be so dependent on whether or not these T-72 can just like run through here and cap everything and get to like a +4 or a +5 that would be needed in order to win in time. All of these stingers. I mean, the only reason but these T-72s are getting through here is because this tow ran out of ammo. You know, that's kind of like what it got to in that position. But triple stinger dying is pretty rough. The T-72 saw the tow and that hasn't been firing, so he knows that's out of ammo. So it's just going to be driving through here. The T-72 looking to just cap as much as possible. Meanwhile, down here, Humvee tow taken out. It's just so much Monschützen sitting at the bottom of that hill there, using its AT weapon to its advantage. Tow Cobra, is it able to get the kill here? Maintains line of sight. Doesn't get the tow on target though. Now tow 2A coming in. Humvee tow from a different angle. This is all that Scuf really needs to do, just trying to get HGMs into all sorts of different places, and he even has the tow Cobra here that can obviously move and start putting pressure onto the sides. So that T-72 forced to back off, as there is no AA here close enough to help. The Shilka's too far back. It was on a queued move and then fast move order, so it was actually moving deeper into the forest before doing the fast move command. Now the T-72 goes down. And it's still a +1 as Scuf recovers that top side. Now the National Guard rifle leader moving into the bottom. And whilst he has lost Bravo, he has gained Charlie. T-72M1 does go down to the Tow Cobra. Now the M60 trying to engage the T-72. Doesn't want to take that engagement. I mean, the T-72S in particular, 18 front armor, 19 penetration, 60% accuracy. Those M60s don't really stand a chance. But the infantry with those HGMs is enough to stop these T-72s from pushing forwards, because the cohesion will get too low. They'll get stunned and start routing, and then the M60s just move forwards and kill them. So, you know, it's not like he can disrespect that. Tow 2A, 25 pen. That goes into a side armor of T-72. It's having a real bad time. National Guard Tow does get into position. Unfortunately, the light rifles did get taken out before they unloaded. T-72 is still able to, you know, put damage downrange. But due to the cohesion here, it looks like the T-72 stopped firing at the National Guard Tow. Like, Stardekk needs to prioritize that. H1F cleans out the Mochitsen. Stops that from being an issue anymore. Bombing strike comes through from the Su-22. That's now taken down. Artillery is starting to whittle down these squads, but there's just more and more of it coming in. Look, there's a fresh technical coming in here with the Hellfire. He's still got more of these things up his sleeve, like Humvee Tow, Engineers with Dragons, just keeping Stardekk at arm's length. So now we really want to see Mortarkladder, we want to see some infantry, the Mochitsen here, come together, unload, start pushing this tree line. Like, since it's so reliant on all of these HGMs, there's a really good chance that he can't stop infantry running across the open. He's got maybe like 50 cal jeeps and 50 cal or like grenade launch jeeps and stuff like that, which potentially would kill the Mochitsen in the open. But then you've got the T-72s behind it that just come up and kill those very, very quickly and very easily. So it's just got to make that combined push work there for him. Otherwise, it's just going to keep falling apart as Scuf just spreads out across the entire map here with infinite amounts of HGMs. Very well played. I thought this would be a lot more like maybe an air focus game, and it certainly was in the beginning. But Scuf here losing a few of his aircraft potentially unnecessarily, and that did stop him from playing that strategy, and then he sort of shifted into the ground-based HGMs. A bit of a wasted artillery strike there. Engineer, Tow 2, completely unscathed really, as these units try now and push forwards. T-72 smoking, is really just pushing hard with these really low health tanks. All it takes is one shot from these HGMs now to get them up, get the job done. Engineer hopping out of there before it takes too much damage. Good kill onto the Tow. Only 2 minutes though till victory for Scuf. SBW-40 rushing forwards here. The big problem right now is like it's like almost 1,900 points. Even if like Stardekk somehow managed to capture the entire map, he still wouldn't be able to get the points back in time. This is a little desperate here. When he probably could have surrendered like 10 minutes ago. The trouble with these kinds of games is They can be a little bit tilty if you let them go too far. So sometimes you've got to think of the mental as well. Sometimes it should just reset, go again. In this case, the Hellfire hitting the mark, T-72, M1K going down, T-72, M1 dead. TOW 2. Also now going to be taking out BMP-1s. I guess the other side of it could be that maybe Stardekk thinks to himself, you know, I've already lost this, but let's just drag it out to be annoying against Scuf, who has already proved to have like a worse mental, I guess, overall. Or the cluster there was trying to cluster the Cubs, but didn't manage to get it on target and get shot down. This F-16 going for the strafing run actually gets the engine destroy onto the Cub there. Has line of sight on these somehow. Not like it's seed or something. It must be seen by the Stinger here, or maybe the Chaparral can see it or something. Interesting. Because otherwise the Maverick wouldn't be firing there at the Cub. Yeah, now we just kind of wait for Stardekk to realize that he can't win this. Murchison gonna clean out a Stinger at least. And that's it. Okay, there we go. In the end, 7,825 kills, 7,405 losses, sorry. A much closer game than the first two, that's for sure. But after like the 30 minute mark, I'm pretty sure Scuf had that in the bag. So yeah, not sure why that was played out so long by Stardekk. It gets to a point where, you know, the time it takes to get the conquest points back in your favor is longer than the game will ever be, and therefore you might as well just like throw in the towel and go next. But in this case, just wanted to play it out. Yeah, good play by Scuf, generally speaking. You know, there were certainly mistakes in there, but especially when he started playing around the ground forces and just spread out all of those HGMs, made it so difficult for Stardekk to push into, and then Stardekk had to be forced into the artillery play, which then, you know, slowed down his game a lot, and therefore allowed Scuf to bring up this conquest score, and that was pretty much it. Really surprised not to see the Napalm grad, or Napalm RM70 in play, because that thing's a beast. And you can kind of split it. You can fire like 20 rockets instead of the 40. And then you fire the other 20 somewhere else and just burn up loads of infantry and support units, which is what he was up against. So it would have been fantastic to have that in the deck. But yeah, that is it for this one. Scuf now goes 2-1 in this best of 5. That's all for now. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.